hope this time the intro gets into the final video because there's always the first few seconds where it kind of gets chopped out due to YouTube. But in any case, I wanted to welcome all of you to Hello Neighbor 64. And I hope that we shall discuss a good number of topics depending on who's online and what comes up. But as a general theme, I also wanted to use this or take this opportunity to talk to you about the pilgrimage. So, as most, if not all of you should know, I am going on a pilgrimage to sacred sites, sites that feature Mary Magdalene, sites that feature the Black Madonna. This has been a part of a more conscious part of my path since I don't recall how long. Um, at the very least, since about 2007, 2008, thereabouts, maybe 2009. That has been more consciously present from that time. But when you walk a path, chances are you've walked it a very, very long time previously anyway. And yeah, I am in the company of my co-facilitator, Miriam Negre, who is someone I met several years ago and has become a very beloved sister to me. And both of us shall be going to places like the Tomb of the Magdalene, the place where she landed, with who is believed to be Sarah, who is believed to be their daughter, on the shores of southern France. We are also going to go to see the Black Madonna of Montserrat. We are going to Lourdes or Lourdes, however you pronounce it. And yeah, we're going to be seeing very, very many things. And this pilgrimage is going to be taking place between April the 8th to April the 13th. As I have expressed previously, this is a non-profit event. We are not getting paid for our time in facilitating for that many days. It's that what we are doing is we are calling for community contributions to facilitate this pilgrimage and making it open to anyone who wants to come and join. Our only requirement is respect the fact that we are the facilitators there and be a part of the group and go with the flow. That's about it. And of course, if you are joining, please do contribute something so that the facilitations and pilgrimages can take place sustainably anyway. What I'm going to do is I'm also going to provide, if I can do it from here, can I share links from here? I'm not sure, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and whatchamacallit, I'm going to go and share the contribution links at the bottom of the video in the comments once we've done with the video. So, those of you who want to join, who want to help out, be my guest and have a look at the info and the links. So that was the pilgrimage update that I wanted to provide. My tickets are all booked. It's going to be my first pilgrimage in quite a few years. So I am a little bit nervous about the health things, but yeah, we're going with faith and things seem to be looking good on the in that regard. So yes, April 8th to the 13th. Of course, it is timed to the eclipse in Aries, which is also going to be a phenomenal time for healing old wounds and for really coming to grips with the truth of the self and what basically brings us to a state of authenticity, vulnerability, and an acknowledgement of who we perceive ourselves to truly be. The more you are willing to sit with your perceptions, the more likely you are to come to the truth. Unless you use it as an excuse for navel gazing, in which case the universe will kick your ass at some point. But this is most definitely, this entire time is already an invitation for all of us to really look at the truth of what is, not what we want it to be, not what we are afraid of it being, not what we really hope for it to become, but what truly is. And that is the way in which this particular pilgrimage has been crafted. And I am very pleased to announce that quite a few Tier 23 members are coming along from all over the world, and it is a very, very big honor and very, very big blessing to see the level of trust, the level of love that the work has generated over the years. So kudos to the T23 team. Having said that, that is what I wanted to provide an update on. I realize this is not the usual timing for Hello Neighbors, but it felt like a good time to speak anyway, and I'm sure most of you will catch it on the replay. And just cause, Hello Neighbors are community spaces in what I can provide and facilitate in this virtual format. But, if there are any comments, if there are any questions, if there's anything that you'd like to talk about or anything that you would like to share, please feel free to do so, or else I'm still online. Otherwise, you can tune in for a different segment. So is anyone online? What's going on? I'm not seeing any comments, so I hope it's not an internet thingy. Floor is yours. Otherwise, I'll wrap it up real quick. Maybe I should just check my laptop to see if this is a tech thing. Maybe. Can one of you say hello just so that I know this is working? No response. Let me see if it's a tech. Oh, here we go. Hello, spiritual twin flame. Hola. Nice to see you. Thank you for the confirmation. So yeah, if there are any questions, any comments, anything like that, just let me know. I see Jen. Hello, Jen. Nice to see you. Spiritual twin flame. I'm actually coming to Spain. I am coming to Spain. I think around the 11th. I shall be in Barcelona, and I shall go see the Montserrat, and I shall also go and see the Madonna de la Mer. Spiritual twin flame asks questions about what? This is a good question. So, Hello Neighbors, a video series that I started some time back. I think I started it before the pandemic actually. And what it is that it creates a community space for people to talk about different things. And, Hello Neighbors can be focused on very spiritual topics, they can be focused on astrology, or they can just be people coming together to say hello, how are you, what are you doing? So that's what this is, more of the community aspect of the following that I have. So I hope that answers your question. And Spiritual Twin Flame is from Mexico, but loves Spain and has been there. I want to see Mexico as well. Yes, Spiritual Twin Flame says correct. We are headed towards the equinox, and it is of course the time for new beginnings, because that's what the equinoxes are for. So of course it also depends on which hemisphere you are in and how you experience that energy if you follow the Sabbats. But it's definitely a time for great new beginnings, and it is a time for us to really put our best foot forwards. Spiritual Twin Flame asks, what do you know about the Aries and equinox? Thanks. Okay, that question is answered. So, yeah, put your best foot forwards, allow yourself to move into new cycles of growth, allow yourself to move into new cycles of expression. This particular year is all about what we have the faith to create. And that's really the dominant theme of the year from the very start to the very finish. So, yay, I get stars from Spiritual Twin Flame. Nice, nice, nice. So, is anyone else about? Is there anything else you'd like to talk about, or any questions you may have, or things you may just want to share? Let me know, because you know what Hello Neighbors are about. Spiritual Twin Flame says, and masculine healing. Well, not necessarily masculine. No, no. Aries is the spark of the self. It does not have to be masculine or feminine, because the spark of yourself is ultimately what connects you to spirit. And spirit has no gender. Gender is a construct that people effectively evolve because of the way bodies are seen to be as double. But truly, across different cultures all over the world, we see that gender has always been a spectrum. And when we look at interpretations of astrology, it's also very important to note that astrology itself has been deeply coded in the patriarchy. So, which is why, at least on this channel, I stay away from patriarchal ideas of spirit and patriarchal binaries of spirit that do not apply. Jen says, how do you feel about this Aries season, ma'am? Okay. I think personally, with the eclipse coming up, and the fact that this eclipse will be conjunct Chiron, will be conjunct the North Node, and all of this stuff, I think that this Aries season is going to be very, very, very significant. And it's going to be very significant because this is really the time where we get to flip the script. Most of the time, people carry out cycles of growth, cycles of pain, cycles of experience on the basis of old karma. And old karma is typically trauma and drama that has not yet been recognized or transmuted in different ways. With Chiron and North Node together during the upcoming eclipse in early April, we're going to be given the opportunity to really look at the wounds of the self and how we see those wounds. Ultimately, people do not have wounds, because if you come from spirit, spirit is all things and nothing. The concept of wounding doesn't exactly exist on the spiritual plane. But as we individuate and as we go into our cycles of incarnation, that is when we accumulate experiences, we attach to those experiences, and then we experience yet again a sum of what we had before. So, with the Aries season, what I tend to encourage people to do is to remember that organic primordial connection with that spark of life itself. And that is something that is flawless, that is something that is blameless, that is what is. So focus on that, and that will actually help you make the most of this season. Um, Jen says, and solar flares, whilst the Sun, North Node, Eris, Chiron are also Aries. Well, technically speaking, they would be Leo because the Sun and Leo have a collaboration, so to speak, in astrology. So, technically speaking, that would be Leo because the planet associated with Aries is Mars. But it can certainly inform the Aries season. At least that's the perspective I would take. But either way, it doesn't take away from what is said. I don't really look at exaltations because I believe, once again, a lot of astrological scripts and traditions were created on the basis of a binary of left, right, male and female, up and down, good and bad. Whereas my understanding and approach to astrology does not use any of these binaries because they are reflective of the politics, economics, and socio-cultural context of that particular time. And so when I look at astrology, I look at something that is not at all based in those concepts. Because you can have an exaltation of the sun in Aries, and what that basically means is that the energy flows faster and the energy flows better. But it doesn't actually mean that it's going to bring you to good outcomes or to bad outcomes, only that there is an amplification. So when we actually begin to label certain positions and label certain experiences as good and bad, we actually create a mental construct that stops us from looking at the energy for what it is. Which is why when I speak or teach or inhabit astrology as part of my work in different ways, I do not use that language. You must be new here, but which is fine, which is totally fine. So, do we have any further questions? Do we have any further comments or anything else that people may want to talk about at this time? Let me know. Let me know. Otherwise, I can wrap it up real quick, but I'll just give a minute for the crowd to say hi. Most of the crowd would be asleep right now because most of you are based in North America. But I'm sure I will see questions in the comments later on. So yeah, just giving everyone a minute to reply, giving everyone a minute to respond. Okay, Jen says, yes, I see, appreciate your insight. Guides have been saying flip the script lately. Thank you for confirmation. Most welcome, most welcome. At the end of the astrology is just a tool. It's just a tool. It's something to hold on to. If you hold on to it, you recreate the matrix anyway. Michi, I was just thinking about you. I was just thinking about you, Michi. Hello, hello. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Um, and then you popped up. Hi, Michi. Good to see you. I've been talking about the pilgrimage, been talking about equinox in Aries, been talking about generally Aries season and the eclipse. Jen says hi to Michi. That's good. That's good. I like that. I like that. I mean, part of the Hello Neighbors is also, to build in community networks, so to speak. I mean, I should also say that recently I Facebook, but I am not making that like the primary community space that remains here on YouTube and on Instagram. But I do kind of have the page there just to hold as a placeholder, so to speak. I figured I kind of had. But for those of you who really are interested in joining the pilgrimage, let me know and I will Facebook link, but that is specifically for people who are coming. Debbie says, good morning. Good morning, Debbie. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. How are you? How have you been? How's everyone doing? Um, Let me know. Let me know. It's a hello neighbor. So, and Debbie is from the Netherlands. Nice, nice, nice. What do I know about the Netherlands? Bicycles, definitely. Gouda cheese, football, the color orange. What else I know about the Netherlands? Tulips, windmills. I think that's about it. Michi says, I'm on Pacific time. I'm ready for the new year. Awesome, awesome. Get ready for the new astrological year. And yeah, we got a whole new energy coming in. We just gotta stay true to the path and keep going, keep going. So it's a good time. It's a good time to celebrate. It's a good time to start new things. So, hopefully there is continued optimism in the air. Debbie says, haha, yes, 100%. Thank you. Thank you. Jen says, me too, blast off for this Aries sun. Okay, I understand the interest. I get it. I get it. I know some Aries that I get along really well. Um, but Aries is, if you go at it from your ego, you can be the biggest bully in the world. But if you go at it from your heart, then Aries can actually be one of those pioneers or change makers or people who basically take that leap into nothingness to create something. So in that sense, Aries is quite a special sign. All of them are special for their own ways. um Dame Luz says the next eclipse literally crosses the path of the last Libra eclipse, creating a literal crossover. Ooh, that is an interesting insight. We shall see what comes off it. I mean, yeah, that is an interesting insight. I mean, honestly, yes, and that is actually a good point. Before we get to the Aries eclipse, we of course are going to be seeing the Libra eclipse, which is going to be coming up a lot sooner. And the Libra eclipse is going to be bringing in all kinds of culminations, it's going to show us what we need to know in terms of our karmic contracts, our relationships, our ideals of justice, our ideals of aesthetics, and just the way we create bridges with each other. And I usually find that I personally tend to focus more on a solar eclipse because there's so much more opportunity to set seeds. Whereas for me personally, different people can see it differently. A lunar eclipse tends to be a culmination of things that have already happened. So there's not much you can do except sit back and kind of look at it and go, okay, it's coming up. What did I do 18 years ago? Okay, how do I navigate this energy, right? And that's kind of the way I take it. But thank you for bringing up the Libra eclipse. Jen says moon and rising in Cancer, so I've been tempered as a traditional Aries. That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, traditional Aries have a very different vibe. Have a very different vibe. Um, but yeah. But yeah, so it's going to be a very interesting eclipse season. And, keep at it, keep going at it, keep doing you, keep just staying present to what comes up. Ultimately, these days, people want to overcomplicate spirituality, but it's very simple. Spirituality is simple. It is absolutely simple. All you have to do is sit down and feel into things and look at what is going on. And sit down and connect to your heart, connect to spirit, connect to the earth, and see what it tells you to do. That's it. There's honestly very little that 99% of people will need to do. Because if you're actually able to sit in that space and make the space for you to reflect, if there is more for you to do, you will be guided to do so. Of course, there's that 1% where things get very hardcore, but most people don't even need to worry about that. So just sit down and observe and allow and learn. That's it. Dame Lutz says, praying for justice. This will be a culmination of the last one. I hope so too. I truly and sincerely hope so as well. Justice, balance, harmony, peace. We deserve it. The planet deserves it. Let's see. Devi says, starting this new cycle with loving power for myself, open to new guidance. Yes, and one thing to bear in mind, the thing about the spiritual world is that not everything you see is necessarily the gospel truth. It is effectively important to also look at what appears to you and look at whether or not is this real? Is this just my own mind? Is this a projection from something else? Is this some weird energy that's been following me around and is trying to lead me down the garden path and not a nice garden? You got to ask those questions as well, especially if you're having very spiritual and psychic experiences. Because it is a fallacy to believe that everything you see in meditation or everything you psychically pick up is automatically going to be correct. And anyone who does believe that, good luck. That's all I would say. Good luck. Kimberly says, I've been having a lot of dreams of multiple moons. What does it mean? That is a good question. Now, if you're dreaming about multiple moons, A, you could read a lot of sci fi. That is the most obvious answer. B, you could be astral traveling and maybe looking at different planets. If so, you need to make sure the cord between your astral body and your physical body is tight. So I would say those two are the most likely. Three, you could be remembering incarnations from a completely different time and place. So there's a whole bunch of interpretations. There's no way to know. No way to know. But it's a dream. Take it with a grain of salt. Don't read too much into it. Dreams are analogies. Very rarely are they literal. Very, very rarely. Michi says, I'm learning a lot about projections and illusions. Yes. I mean, in some sense, this is one of the biggest parts of the work for people on the spiritual path and journey, because it's so easy to fall into illusions, especially when there is something your ego really wants. It's very easy to see what you want because the mind is able to project its own narrative. The thing about doing spiritual work in a clean way is to first learn your ego. What is it? What gets its rocks off? How do you work around it or through it? When is it your mind that's hallucinating, or when are you actually picking up an actual spiritual signal? How to validate it, how to verify it. These are things that you learn through years and years and years of work. These are not things that come immediately. It's not enough to see. One must have the wisdom to discern what is real and what is not real. Otherwise, you can end up doing a lot of damage to yourself or other people. But that is a different question. But it's good to see you as well, Kimberly. So just as a recap, we started this video talking about the upcoming pilgrimage in France and Spain. We are going to sacred sites, to the Magdalene and to the Black Madonna. And people can still join, and I need people to contribute. So I will be providing the relevant links to that in the comments once we are done with this particular video, and I hope you will support this work. We are also going to be filming and so sharing the experience, what aspects of it can and should be shared with the community, and giving back that way. So, so that's in the first part of this video. You can listen to that. France and Spain, April 8th to April the 13th. And it is an open pilgrimage. Just go with the flow and show up if you want. I see Vivi. Hello, Vivi. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. How are you? Are you okay? Are you feeling more optimistic about life? Let me know. Let me know. We're just at the equinox. Sun about to head into Aries. This is a good time for beginning new things, beginning new chapters. Moving ahead. So I hope you're doing well. I think VB's comments and VB's questions are a running theme of Hello Neighbors, which is a good thing. So VB is probably a lot more popular than he realizes. But yes, as of yesterday, feeling better. Very good. I'm very happy. Because just bear in mind, Sun has been in Pisces. Pisces brings up all of the stuff. In fact, astrologers didn't know what to do with Pisces, so they call it the dustbin of the zodiac. Whatever you don't understand, put in Pisces. Energy stuff, Pisces. Dreams, Pisces. Secrets, Pisces. Mysterious illnesses, Pisces. Depression, Pisces. Addiction, Pisces. Healing, Pisces. Miracles, Pisces. Enlightenment, Pisces. Disillusionment, Pisces. So with Pisces, anything can come up. But the sun is heading out of it, and we are preparing to head into Aries, which is a much better energy to get things done, unless you like me and deeply focused on meditation most of the time anyways. But even then, Aries is still a lighter energy. But good to hear you are better. Graciela says, oh my God, yeah, I made a live. Hi. Jen says, so funny, Dustpan Pisces. Yep. Oh my God. Debbie says, I'm a Sun Pisces, dustbin lol. Seriously, it's not my word. They used to call it the dustbin of the zodiac because anything that you couldn't explain, Pisces. Anything, cosmic ocean, Pisces. Karma, Pisces. Everything just goes there. Past life, Pisces. But it has certain dominant strands of, but it's just the number of things you can put in there is quite huge. Put it that way. But okay, I see Pisces Sun. Hopefully you're not offended. You know what I'm saying is true. But detached compassion, connection, healing. So we're moving into the space where we need to do things, where we need to breathe that spark of life into the world. This isn't the time to hide anymore. Pew, pew, pew. Debbie says, explains my bumpy life path. I feel you, Debbie. I have a lot of Pisces. I feel you. Michi says Pisces can be all over the place, y'all. Yeah, it wants to go everywhere. It wants to merge with everything. It wants to feel into everything. And then it goes and disassociates and gets lost somewhere if it doesn't know what it's doing. So, yeah. Debbie says no boundaries, definitely. Yes. Vivi says, do you think this is a time to make some investments financially and also find love? Yes. Yes, Phoebe. As long as it is spiritually aligned with who you are and your innermost self says, do it, this is good for you, go and do it. We have Venus Saturn conjunction coming up tomorrow or the day after. But very, very soon we have a Venus Saturn conjunction coming up. As long as you feel it is spiritually in tune with your vibe and you feel at peace with it, you go and do it. Debbie is laughing. And Graciela says vitality. Definitely more so with the Aries. Definitely. Pisces vitality comes from trying to go and swim into things that are not quite in the here and now. So it is very vital, but just in more of the hidden realm, so to speak. But I am very much looking forward to the equinox. Very, very much forward looking into it. So, and of course, we're going to have the Libra eclipse coming up. We're going to have the Aries eclipse coming up. So, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to grow through. There's a lot to evolve into. There's a lot to let go of. And there's a lot to embrace. It's going to be a very significant one this time. So, I mean, all eclipses are significant in their own ways, but that Aries eclipse, I keep looking at it in early April when we are going to be on our pilgrimage. It is going to be quite powerful for healing. So you got to be grounded and ready. Okay, Michi says, likewise, I'm so excited. Debbie says, have to leave, we'll see from start later. Little boy needs to go to school. Take care, soul family. Have a great new cycle. Have a great new cycle. Thanks for popping by. And, Michi says, there's a lot to let go of. Oh, man. Yeah, man, woman, nondescript gender, whichever. Whatever you need to let go of, let it go. It's like Disney came up with the best song ever. Let it go. It is a great song. So, Michi, I recommend singing it. Let it go. Michi says, getting out of comfort zones is the challenge. Agreed. Agreed. But, if you see what the actual spiritual goal is not the right word, but what is a spiritual state that you actually like to be, then, it becomes easier. But you need to understand what your goalposts actually are. I mean, I remember when I was a child, I was very precocious, brain worked very fast. And I used to look at pictures of black holes, like, astronomical black holes. And I kept looking at it because I think instinctively I already knew, yeah, those lead somewhere. And that's probably something that's a lot more familiar to me than being here. So, for me, as a kid, I understood instinctively the purpose is to finish strong and then go home. And that's always been my particular life goal, my particular life path. Have a culmination, have a good life, and then go home. And that's, for me, that's probably one of the reasons why I've been able to give up a lot of things. It's just knowing what you are spiritually looking for, what your soul truly desires at your unique, in what stage of incarnation you are uniquely at. That helps you shift more than anything else. Let's see. Graciela says, I live in Texas near Austin, the path. Okay. That is cool. That should be quite interesting. And, have a good eclipse. I find that anytime I try to stay awake for an eclipse, I fall asleep. There's something that does not want me to go look at eclipses. And I've tried enough times, like the few times you can actually see an eclipse where I am, and I've just been knocked out. So, there is a school of thought that says, better just let them be what they are. You mind your own business, keep quiet, look at what's happening, and then come out once it's done. I'm of that school of belief. But of course, there are people who want to look at it live, and I'm not going to say that's a bad thing, but, different folks, different strokes, whatever floats your boat. Michi says, I never go. Yeah, it's just like something in me just knocks me out anytime I try. So I've given up trying. Vivi says, does this eclipse have any implications for Scorpio? Every alignment, whether or not it is in a sign or not in a sign, will have an implication for you. Because somehow, somewhere, you will have something that connects to it. Now, the thing is, this is why I don't do sign based astrology, because everybody has something somewhere. Your sun sign is not the most important thing. For some people, Saturn is a bigger indicator. For some people, Neptune is a bigger indicator. So, yes, it's always going to have an impact on you. But what you can see is how those lines of connection. So, for example, let's say, for Libra to Scorpio, the relationship is let me think. Libra is the seventh and Scorpio the eighth, so the relationship is a semi-sextile. You have to kind of really force it to see if there's any connection that can come. But Aries to Scorpio would be, why is my brain not working right now? Would be an inconjunct. So Aries to Scorpio would be an inconjunct. And inconjuncts basically bring up uncomfortable circumstances that force you to evolve, that force you to move along in a certain way. It's something that can bring up something that's almost like the sound of fingernails on a chalkboard or chalk and cheese, whichever metaphor you like. Things that don't normally go together, that kind of triggers the Scorpio to make different decisions around their awareness. So it's always going to affect. Graciela says, Spirit keeps me on a need to know basis. That's probably very wise. That's probably very wise. When you know too much, when you see too much, normal life becomes very difficult. So if you have any desire to have some level of comfort in this incarnation, need to know basis is probably the best option, to be honest. Too much and yeah, it becomes a lot harder. But yes, I can see that this is being a fairly good Hello Neighbor. And, lots of astrological and spiritual details covered. Very, very happy to hear it. But I think I am going to wrap up because I'm starting to get tired. So are there any questions, comments before I roll out, as it were? Let me know. And as I said, I'll put the link to the fundraiser for the pilgrimage, which has details of the pilgrimage, in the comments once we are done. Anything? Otherwise, I'm going to go lie down. Huh? What? Vivi, what is this question? That was cute. Vivi first asked, will we have a love from your pilgrimage? I'm like, Vivi, I don't know if my pilgrimage is going to help you find a girlfriend. I got it. You meant life. It was still funny. Yes, we will be having, I'll see depending on the connection, because, yeah, Michi says Freudian slip. It's because love is on his mind. That is why. Well, I hope you find love soon. You deserve it, baby. You totally deserve it. So yes, we will see if I can do a live. It depends. I will be going to some remote places. If the place is too remote, I can't do anything. So we will also see what the phone signal is. But things will be recorded, what can and should be recorded, and that will be uploaded for all of the community to go and see. And that's why contribute and you can. Those who want to join also can. The link info will be given. Kimberly says, great live. Thank you. Well, thank you for your participation. Thank you all for showing up and making this a solid Hello Neighbor 64. So take care. Very, very many blessings. Wishing everyone lots of hugs, happiness, love, joy, peace, and connection with spirit that is in alignment with your innermost being. Ciao, ciao for now. Bye-bye.